Hey folks, how's it going? I've just solved a problem without buying any more gear. That's always a plus, right? I'm using my A6400. It doesn't have a headphone jack. I've spoken about this before. That was a problem for me because what I do is I take a feed from this mixing console behind me and I take that into the camera. If I use a single mix channel from the desk, I was getting mono sound in the camera and it was coming through only on one side. That's not what I wanted. So what I was doing is I was taking a headphone output from the desk and going into the camera. And on the A7 III, I could then plug my headphones into the camera and I could monitor my levels and get a nice balance between the guitar and the vocals before I started recording. That all went away because the 6400 doesn't have a headphone jack. So I thought to myself while I was out at piano lessons with my son, I wonder if I could get a headphone amplifier and use that to go from a linked pair of mix outs, i.e. stereo, so two XLRs coming out the back and going into a headphone amp, and then a single channel output with a jack cable going into the camera from the headphone amp. And that would work, but then I would have to buy a headphone amp. And then I remembered years and years ago I bought an iPad interface made by Alesis, and it's so old it actually has a 30-pin dock connector, but that's okay because so does my iPad. It's old technology, still in use here. So I dug it out the drawer, found the power lead for it. That took quite a long time. It's a wall wart kind of setup. And I've taken XLR outputs from two mix channels on the desk. I've stereo linked them as a pair. They're going into the inputs on the Alesis. I've then got a stereo Y cable made by Planet Waves, which I bought for when I had a dual source pickup in my guitar, which allowed me to plug into the end of the guitar with a tip ring sleeve and split it into a Y so that I could then process each pickup separately. What I can do here is I can use that same cable with a stereo output from the Alesis and then convert it to an 1/8 inch from a 1/4 inch and go into the camera. And you know what? It works. Not only that, the Alesis also has a headphone jack, so I can monitor my levels with these headphones into the Alesis and also have the mix out with exactly the same balance as done on the mixing console here. So I've solved the problem. That's just fantastic. So how are the levels now? They sound okay to me. I'm using a dynamic mic, which is normally what I would use for stage. That's because I'm practicing for a gig that I've got tomorrow night. So I'm trying to replicate the setup that I'm going to have tomorrow night, which is an array of devices at my feet. We're using this dynamic mic, which then splits. I've got a microphone splitter here so that I can send the microphone either to my loop pedal or not to my loop pedal. So it allows me to do things like, "You're my sweet, my blue-eyed darling. You're my sweet, my blue-eyed darling." Well, that was meant to play back there and it didn't. Embarrassing, but that's the kind of stuff that I'm going to be doing tomorrow night. So I've got to practice tomorrow and then tail this stuff down about 3-4 o'clock and get to the venue for 6:30. Take me an hour to get set up and just get into the zone, into the space, you know, and then sing for my supper. So I'm looking forward to it. I haven't played a solo gig in a few months, I think. So it's going to be fun. Well, I'm super glad I've got this sorted out. I bet you the A7 III arrives back pretty soon now, and well, it won't all have been in vain because I think I'll use this here instead of going back to the way I was doing it, because I think this is a more robust setup. I was concerned actually that the preamps in the Alesis were going to be pretty poor and cause noise, but in actual fact I can turn the gain on those channels right down, and then there's no gain staging, as it were. It's just a pass-through device. So there we go, problem solved. I'm a happy camel. Thanks for watching, folks. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.